Presenting my screen. Bringing chat up. All right. So again, we have our rotation. We have our rotation. And we have our rotation of our neck and the head. Okay, the neck needs to be parented to the upper spine because, again, you know, wherever the upper spine goes, the neck follows, right? So it's standard parenting. That was what was causing him to kind of duck neck as I was rotating the spine. So that all works. So we just need to really just finish the head and lock everything down. So right now the jaw isn't working, the eyes aren't working, and all this is the stuff that we did on the puppet, right? So the jaw, as I said, should have the pivot at the base jaw joint right there. And we're going to do an orient constraint. So I select the jaw controller, shift select the joint, constrain, orient, make sure everything's on, click add. I didn't forget about the quiz that I messaged y'all about. We're going to do that here in just a little bit. We have very little that we need to do to finish this up. So I'm just going to finish this and then we'll do the quiz. So, so that works. Hooray. And the jaw controller should follow the head control. Again, standard parenting, right? So select the jaw control, shift select the head control, hit P, boom, done. Eyes, again, are individual control of each individual eye. And then these are parented to the main controller, just like we did before. But the eyes themselves need to be point constrained to their individual joints. Now, here's the thing on this, right? As I said before, don't forget this. If your geo layer is on reference and you have not added the shape node of these eyes to the layer, you will still be able to select it and it will cause a problem. So for instance, I'm going to go ahead and select this. I'm going to hit the down arrow to select the shape node. I'm going to remove the selected object from the layer just to show you what I'm talking about, right? So I have my layer referenced and I want to apply a point constraint from the joint to, really, it's going to do that. Still on the layer. Let me just remove that. Okay. Let's try this. It's still, it's not doing the problem. Okay. Something I did made this work the way it's supposed to work. And I didn't want it to work the way it's supposed to work because I wanted to show you the problem. All right, so let me see here. I want to show you the issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend I have the issue. All right. So if I select this joint and I shift select the eyeball, it's going to select the transform node by default. But if the reference layer is activated, it may only select the shape node. It'll look like you're selecting it. But if I go to do a point constraint, it's not going to work, right? It may not even give you an error. So I'm going to undo that. So what you want to make sure of is that if it's giving you an error or it's giving you problems or whatever, let me rotate that back to 0. You may have to add the both the transform constraint or the transform node and the shape node to the geo layer in order to reference it the way you want to reference it, okay? In order to make it properly selectable, right? Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that, you know, it looks like you're selecting it, but you're not, okay? I couldn't really recreate the problem, so hopefully that's not going to be an issue, but just keep that in mind. So going to select the eye joint, shift select the eyeball geo. This is an active layer. I can actually select it. Constrain, point, again with options. Everything is maintain offset, all axes. Click add. I'm going to do the same for the other eyeball. I'm just going to hit G to reapply the same constraint. So now the eyes are following. And then I do an aim constraint to each of their individual controls, just like we did before. Select the control, shift select the eyeball, constrain, aim, maintain offset, all axes, apply. Same for the other eye. So now that works and that works. And then these are going to be simply parented to the main eyeball controller. So when you move them together, moves them both. And when I rotate the head, the eye control should go with it. So the eye control is going to be parented to the head control. Hit P. Wherever the head control goes, the eye control goes, and you can still move it around and set keyframes on it and stuff like that. It looks like I do not have my I didn't have this frozen. So let me make sure that that's frozen before I parent it in. Yeah, I need to freeze my transformations. So I thought I had done that. Okay. And then parent that in. Okay. So that works. What? How is it I'm getting all these transforms here? I thought I did this. Oh, I just didn't, or did I? Okay, I just needed to zero that out. I feel like it moved it forward a little bit, so I'm just going to change the vertices. Okay. There we go. All right, good. So I'm going to reparent that to the head control. Why is it taking on these? Freeze transformations. There we go. That works. That works. That works. All right. Just make sure that you double check your transformations. It kept taking on this additional information for some reason. Just double check your controls after the fact. Everything should work. So I have that. Everything's following along. At this point, I can go ahead and point constrain, or not point constrain, but parent constrain my hair to either the top joint or the back joint. Doesn't matter which one. I'm going to do the top joint because I want hair on top of my head as well. So again, it's a parent constraint. Everything active. Click add. And now that just follows along simply and easily. There we go. So I've done some work, so I'm going to go ahead and save as version 25. And now we need to start locking things down because I think gotten everything done on this. Although I might have, let me look at my assignment sheet. I might have to do the teeth and tongue on this. Nope. Not for this one. All right, so for the main spine, 1, 2, 3, all three of these, even the neck and the head, they're all doing only rotation. Even the jaw, nothing but rotation. Okay, so I'm just gonna highlight, translate, scale, and visibility. I can do that after I shift click all of these controls, the neck, the head, and the jaw. All of these are going to be doing only rotate. So I highlight all my translate, scale, and visibility, right click, lock and hide selected. Just double check them all, make sure that you didn't miss any. There's that, that, that. Okay. Your main eye control is going to be doing translate only. So lock and hide selected on those. Same thing for the individual eye controls. I'll select them both. Lock and hide selected on rotate, scale, and visibility. Then we just need to finalize our hierarchy and hide some things. All right, so here's our spine spline IK. I'm just going to take all of these elements because they're all types of control. And I'm just going to either control click my controls group and hit P, or I can middle click and drag onto my controls group, and that will also parent those under that. So that is where those are going to go. They're going to go into the controls group, at least for now. There's a possibility I might need to scale some things, right? So I want to make sure everything moves. and I don't get double transformations. That moves. Does this move? Yes. Right? Does it rotate? Yes, everything's rotating. Does it scale? No, not so much. I had this issue before, right? Okay, so I'm going to put this back to 0. You don't want to change these things while it's out and about. The hair needs to scale. The eyes need to scale. Okay, this is our geometry. So we're going to create a scale geo group, right? So I'm going to take these 3 elements, Control G to group, and I'm going to call it scale geo underscore grp. And we're going to create from the place me to that group, Control click the group, constrain, scale, everything's on. When I scale that down now, that works, but look what's going on. He lost his neck because my curve isn't scaling. So I want to create a scale controls group. So where is my curve? Spine, spline, curve, Control G to group it. Scale controls underscore grp. Oh, I already have a scale controls group. I can just put my curve in it. So select the curve and middle click and drag it onto the scale controls group, or control click and hit P. And that should scale that curve. But my clusters are still being left behind. And actually, I might need to scale the clusters instead of the curve. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'll take a look at it. I'm going to take these torso groups, control click, and hit P on my scale controls. Let me just make sure everything works. No. Oh, my pants are also being left behind. That's interesting. What am I missing here? Is it the IK? Nope. Let me see what my notes say, because I feel like I'm forgetting something. It's not in my notes. I'm going to put my cluster groups into my scale controls group, and that might be it. That's all it is. That and the IK handle. Pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the that's what it was. The cluster groups and the IK handle, not the curve. Okay, because the curve is being controlled by the clusters. So that worked. Let me just move it, rotate it, make sure everything still scales properly. Yep. Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I apologize for that. I was drawing a blank on that. Put that back to 1. So I'm going to go ahead and unhide his shirt. And that is skinned, so that should scale as well. And I think that's it. So we want to hide our IK handle. And our curve. I'm going to Control H to hide the curve. I'm going to select the IK handle, Control H to hide that. And I'll go ahead and hide my cluster groups as well. I don't want to select those either. There we go. Everything should still work. You are going to notice some head shifting from the twist. Honestly, I haven't figured out how to fix that. So don't worry about that. If I come up with it, I'll throw a video up. All right, going to save as version 26 and save as and overwrite my final. And that is it for the spine setup. So we didn't have a whole lot left to do on that. Rather than throw the quiz at you right now when we have break in 17 minutes, I'm going to wait until after the break. So I'm going to let you guys work. I'm going to stop the video.